You're on at 3, 2, 1. Action!
Hey guys, this is Leon here at Shop Task Vancouver, and today I'm going to talk about frames. Some people call them in different ways, but I call them frames. And frame is the bottom part of the skate that holds the wheels. So there's a bunch of different frames from different materials, different lengths to fit different wheel sizes. But first I'm going to explain you the two main differences. There's UFS frames that stand for Universal Frame System. If you look at this, it's perfectly flat on top. And this is designed for trick skates. All the skates here that you would use for the skate park, Valo, Rams, Razors, everything, except this, would use a universal frame system. The bolts are in the exact same position and they would fit any size boots. So even if it's a larger frame, the bolts would still be in the same spot. It's just a question of preference in aggressive skating, what length of frame you prefer. They all fit about up to 60 millimeter wheels. Longer frame would feel more stable because it's longer. So if you're doing jumps and stuff, it would feel really solid. A shorter frame would be a bit lighter and easier to do tricks, easier to turn, easier to do grinds because the frame is not as long, it's not going to get stuck in anything. And then the differences between aggressive frames, which you can see here, it's mostly like colors. There's minor differences with hardware and like spacers that go in there. And skaters would have their own preference on the hardware and the type of plastic they're using and the look, depending like how fast they want them to grind and stuff like that. But let's move on from aggressive skates here. Now, for aggressive skates, there's also UFS frames that come with bigger wheels, bigger than 60. For example, I have this frame here. That's a UFS 90 millimeter frame that can fit onto any aggressive skate. One difference between those two frames, this is plastic and this is metal. Metal is a lot more responsive. It gives you way better energy transfer. So when you push off, you get a lot more energy, you get a lot more speed out of the frame. So there's also UFS frames with bigger wheels that are plastic. They're fine because you can slide on them. You can't slide as well on metal or you're going to ruin the frame a bit. So it depends what you're looking for, but metal is always better for speed and responsiveness. Now, non-UFS frames are frames that fit on most fitness skates. So rollerblade skates, K2 skates, they all have non-UFS frames that are mounted with bolts. One company, most of the K2 skates, except the really high-end skates like the Radicals, not worry about this, but most K2 skates, the frame is not replaceable because it's not mounted, it's actually riveted. So you cannot switch the frames on K2 skates. And if you are looking into trying different types of frame setups, K2s are not very accommodating of different setups. So they are as you buy them. There are some models like this one. This is a UFS frame, but pretty much all K2 skates are riveted, which I don't like. Between the non-UFS frames, there's also a lot of differences with the materials, and here it's really noticeable. So let's say like a very basic frame, well, the cheapest would be a plastic frame. And if you ice skate, think about a plastic blade, how unresponsive it's going to be. Same with skating. You want it like solid metal, you push off, you get good speed. But as soon as we move up from plastic, let's say a frame like this, the most basic one would be usually made out of two pieces of metal, and right here in the center, it would be connected. It would be riveted to hold them together. So it's held here, and then it held right here, so it makes it pretty solid. But if you're slightly heavier, or you're looking for something that would last you for a long time, this is not strong enough. I will break it in moments. Yeah, but if you're under 150 pounds, you're probably fine. over 150 pounds, you want a frame that is made out of one solid piece.
Squeeze it. Show them how soft it is.
I don't want to really break it, but it's squeezable. Now, some frames, let's say this is a slightly better frame from Rollerblade. It is actually made out of one piece of metal that's kind of like cut and folded, so it's just riveted in the front, but it's still not a one solid piece. And you can see here how it's... So it's a metal frame, pretty nice and solid, but still, if you're over 150 pounds, this is not going to work. Moving on to a full, solid one-piece frames. We have, let's say, a frame here. That's the basic one-piece frame. It's a lot stronger. I can't flex it as easy. It's made out of one consistent piece. That's all you need to know. And then the highest level of frames would be just stronger metal. So this, like, no matter what I do, there's no flex at all. They're like reinforced, higher quality metal, a lot more precise. And what I'm talking about precision is the bolts here are actually screwing in straight into the frame, so you can see a thread in the frame, and that keeps the wheel really balanced. So when you look at the wheels on a high-end frame, because the frame will never flex, it will never change its shape, the wheels will be perfectly straight. Where on a cheaper frame, if it's plastic or you know, something like that, over time they will go off alignment and it will wear out your wheels in a funny way. So I think that's all I got. There's a lot more information that you can always you know, call us, talk to us, you know, chat. But I think that's a good intro. If you have questions, please make a comment. Thank you for watching. Woo-woo!